And welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and you can find me on Twitter at Bob McDonald. And joining me, of course, is my co-host Matt Dudek.
Hey there, everybody.
And Matt, of course, you can find on Twitter at GrizzTalkOU, and you can follow the podcast on Twitter at HorizonRT or on Facebook at Horizon Roundtable. And Matt, I'm having a little bit of trouble keeping up with all the games that we've had the last few days. I
We're
mean,
playing a lot of basketball.
well, yeah, I mean we're in that mid-level exception tournament, whatever the fuck they want to call them. And everybody's in them. Milwaukee, Detroit, Oakland, Cleveland State, Green Bay's got one going on in their own hometown. But yeah, it has been a whirlwind of games, and I am. And by the way, we're recording this in the early evening. I'd like on Sunday, so we've actually covered all the games. I'm happy to report that Detroit finally won a game out in Vegas against UC Irvine. So congratulations to them. I'm also happy to report that Cleveland State is not in last place because they won 2 games in a row against Division One opponents.
What got into that group there?
I will tell you what happened. And by the way, this is happening in a week where Cleveland State was completely, absolutely demoralized. They played their first game of this DC Classic or GC Challenge or whatever the hell you want to call it game on Tuesday against Florida International, and Florida International wiped the floor with them. I think it was 107-51 or something like that.
It was ugly.
It
Oh,
was the worst thing. Okay, put it to you guys in perspective. So I've been following Cleveland State since 1992. The worst loss I have ever seen with the Cleveland State game is actually the only time I have ever gone on a road trip to watch a Cleveland State game, and it was against Cleveland State. It was against Kent State in 2003, and they lost 116-56. That was in 2003, and the beatdown that Florida International put on Cleveland State, I thought was just as demoralizing as that loss there. And I should point out the fact that in that loss there, that kind of was the impetus for Cleveland State to lose 21 in a row, because that was the first year of Mike Garland in 2003, 2004. They went like 4-25. It was the worst thing ever. So imagine my surprise. And they talked a lot about it. I mean, I was listening to the radio feed, and we'll get into why I had to do that a little later on. But Cleveland State's play-by-play guy Al Pulaski had absolutely no problem bringing up the fact that Cleveland State lost to Florida International by that much the entire weekend. So imagine my surprise that Cleveland State goes into DC and they played probably the best defense I have seen since the Gary Waters era. Because I know the 2 years that Dennis Felton was there, apparently I kept hearing he was this defensive guy, but I never saw it. Dennis
and,
Gates, I mean, this guy's running 10, 11 guys deep.
well, you
Playing,
have to when you don't have anybody that's really that good. And this isn't even me making fun of Cleveland State. They have no one that's that good. You have to at least play deep. You don't have an you don't
they
have
do.
a,
I think that is their
people have
game. Honestly, I think that is their game plan. There's their game plan to play 10, 11 deep, and I keep mentioning, and let's not forget, they're missing 3 guys. They're missing Jalen Hill, they're missing Torrey Patton, they're missing Jalen Williams. So theoretically, if they get to the conference schedule, they could go 14 deep. I mean, you're just going to basically hit people with like pure volume, I guess.
They're going to see who's hot that night, and they don't. He
And
doesn't
you and you
care. I mean,
and you want to know something? This weekend, he found 2 guys who were hot. One of them was Al Eichelberger, who, by the way, very happy the aliens brought him back because he played his ass off on Friday.
how many
19,
games did he miss, Bob?
God, 3 probably.
Oh, that's a weird number. What does that usually mean?
Well, normally it would mean something other than recreational activities, but they did mention in the post game he was hurt. So
All right, fine.
sorry.
Fine.
I still I hurt, quote unquote. I still maintain it was the aliens, but yeah, he played his ass off, and then so he was basically pivotal against UNC Wilmington, which is and which is funny. And then on the next day, kind of a crossover because the guy who hit the winning shot was Trago Million. I'm sorry, best name in the Horizon League right now besides Tank Hemphil. Seriously. Um, Trago Million hit the layup for the winning layup against UNC Wilmington on Friday, and then Saturday. I mean, this guy's 6'4". He was playing about 6 inches taller because he got 16 rebounds. Finished with 15 points, 16 rebounds. Cleveland State pretty much, it was a convincing win against, it was a convincing win on Saturday for them.
You,
So the
you know, for
fact,
me,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like that FIU loss was so bad that me, who's like a noted right now Cleveland State hater for my own reasons with Rashad and all that,
Yeah,
I even was a little bit embarrassed. So for them to turn it around the way they did,
it's
that's a
unbelievable.
good win.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, it was. Yeah, I was. I mean, it was. I couldn't when I was listening to it. I could not believe what I was hearing because it was just such. I mean, their rotation includes at least one or two walk-ons at least from time to time. I mean, I mean, they've started. And the game. I swear to God, the game on Saturday, they really had an issue with their fouls. I mean, they lost both. They lost both of their. They lost Hugo Ferreira and Cash Thomas to foul trouble, and yet they still won. Al Eichelberger was out for a big chunk of time with foul trouble, and yet Cleveland State had no problem. Cleveland State won convincingly, and the reason, honestly, man, it was. I mean, the only reason that excuse me. I mean, the only reason that oh crud, and it was yesterday. I can't remember who they were playing. It was
Eastern Kentucky yesterday.
Eastern Kentucky. Thank you. The only reason Eastern Kentucky was in the game because they kept getting free throws. Cleveland State held Eastern Kentucky to one field goal in 15 minutes in the second half. One field goal. If that's not a testament to whatever they're doing, forget, say what you will about their offense, because their offense is going to be, I mean, we've seen their offense be not great, but man, that defense is going to be something to deal with in the conference schedule. It really is.
That's an interest, and I kind of hope so because I feel like the Horizon League is shaping up to be a defensive league this year, which we've gotten gone.
Yeah,
That's what it was for a long time. Then everyone's been
it
trying to play
was.
offensively, and now I feel like everyone's back to play. Like I know Oakland, they're happy to grind it out to a 60-point game right now, which is not a typical Oakland thing. I've never seen that from Oakland in my life, but that's who they are. So like I know they're trying to slow stuff down, and they're playing a lot of defense, and
Yeah.
State's going to play defense. Like okay, like I know Northern Kentucky's trying to push, but like I don't think they're having a ton of success with that, which we'll probably get to in a little bit too. But
Yeah.
overall, I think everyone's trying to play a little bit more defense, grind things down a little bit in the league right now, and that's an interesting trend.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and we've both seen it over the years that, you know, defense has kind of been the Horizon League's bread and butter, and the fact that they're getting back to this, even with all of the changes in the, to make kind of offense more of a thing, it really has been to the benefit of the Horizon League as a whole. I thought, I still think, yes.
Looking at box scores just even from yesterday. Milwaukee played a game where they won with 60 points. Youngstown won with 60 some points. Cleveland State won with 60 some points. UIC lost, but it was a high 60, low 70 game. And then you have this Northern Kentucky Texas Southern game.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into that Northern Kentucky game. So this is now Texas Southern. I consider to be like I mean, I consider this game to be the quintessential trap game because this is a Texas Southern team that was formerly in the charge of now Detroit Mercy coach Mike Davis, and now under the tutelage of Johnny Jones. For those of you who do not know who Johnny Jones is, he came to Texas Southern. His last job was at LSU. He's the guy who brought Ben Simmons to LSU. So this guy's no slouch. Um, the fact that they came in 0-4 is kind of misleading because this Texas Southern's MO for like since Mike Davis started and now continuing with Johnny Jones is get those bye games so you can make some money for the program. That's what they
Exactly
do.
which is what Davis is doing at Mercy now. So it's kind of funny that Detroit Mercy and Texas Southern met in a in a tournament game somewhere where both teams had no one else to play, I guess.
Yeah. So it's but again, Texas Southern, however, has had the opportunity to surprise some of their bye games over the last couple of years, which leads us to Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, who is without Jalen Tate, by the way, but and also had some major foul issues. The reasons of which I'm sure Northern Kentucky fan will have more than enough reasons to explain. But the bottom line is, what is it? Triple overtime. Texas Southern wins by 2, and that was it. I mean, I will say this: if the one good thing out of Northern Kentucky, the one bright spot you can at least have with Northern Kentucky is it. Once you get Jalen Tate back, you will also have at least a couple of other options, other scoring options, because Dantes Walton and Trevon Faulkner, those guys were killing it yesterday before they fouled out, of course.
Well,
And that was kind of the difference because they fouled out and then, you couldn't do a whole hell of a lot after that.
here's why the loss to Texas Southern actually I think is worse than people realize. And it took me a second to kind of find how I want to approach this. Like, I'm used to Texas Southern, like you said, they're you can't judge them by the record because they play everybody.
It was
They
a trap game, I thought.
Well, but have you looked at Texas Southern's record or who they played this year and how those have gone? I mean, they got blown out at San Diego State. I don't think anyone's
Yeah.
crazy about San Diego State. They lost. They lost at Wichita State, which Wichita State is not what we all remember them to be right now.
I don't
They
know
got
about that.
they got beat pretty soundly by South Dakota. They got blown out at Arkansas. Okay, that's at least a power conference. Cool. It's not like they've been getting rolled at UCLA and Duke and all in Syracuse.
I'd like to point out, by the way, that they only lost to Wichita State by 6 points.
Yeah, they
So
played a game there.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about at least 2 teams right now, Wichita State and South Dakota, who are actually still undefeated. Arkansas, I mean, Arkansas is still obviously a high major. San Diego State, I never really count out because I'm pretty sure Steve Fisher is still their coach, right?
I think so.
So, I mean, he's been there for freaking ever, so it wouldn't be surprising to me that that would be the case. But, so I'm not really on that, I'm not really, given that group of teams that they've played, I'm not really of the opinion that they were going up against, complete, like, they were going up against, low, mid-level, teams that were just.
Oh, they lost to Cleveland State, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. What? Huh?
Okay, what?
Never.
I'm saying they didn't play Cleveland State. I was using that as like an analogy of
No, they did exactly. They didn't play
the types of teams you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they were coming up against. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're not looking at. It's not like they were. It's not like they're. The Texas Southern is not a. If you want to get compared it to any of their kind of fellow conference members, they're absolutely not like Arkansas, Pine Bluff, or Prairie View A&M. This is a team that will eventually be one of the. We'll probably see them in the tournament again, probably in the first 4 game. This is the type of program that, I mean, it's not that they're the worst team on the planet, but
No, and
compared.
I'm not trying to say they are. I appreciate Texas Southern. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, I think they'll end up as a tournament team.
yeah,
But they haven't been getting playing their typical barnstorm of a schedule so far. That's all I'm trying to say.
yeah. But they will be doing that soon enough because they got to go to Montana, then they got to go to Gonzaga, and then they got to go to Nevada and Oregon. Yeah, they're gonna get they're not even in close to their bye games because they still have Nevada, Oregon, Texas A&M, and Arizona State coming up. So and Gonzaga. Don't forget the Gonzaga. So good luck with that, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're about to get their ass kicked. All I'm saying though is like I mean, Northern Kentucky was in that game. It's not a bad loss, but
Yeah.
I think it kind of exposes Northern Kentucky for what they are right now. But that's not to say that's what I think Northern Kentucky is going to
No.
be.
And again up to this point, Northern Kentucky was doing pretty good. I mean, to be fair, they were doing okay.
Yeah.
Now, they were. I think their only loss was before the Texas Southern game was, because they pretty much they handled Ball State and they uh, who else did they play? I don't even remember, but I know they lost one. I mean, they went up against the Coastal Carolina team that did pretty well this weekend, by the by. So,
Yeah,
but
they got beat by Missouri. Like that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
That'll
Missouri.
happen.
They lost against Missouri. That was their only other loss. They lost to
Yep.
Missouri. So it's not exactly like but again, Northern Kentucky again is in that period where they're still trying to kind of feel out things. They're still trying to feel out their coach. They're still without Jalen Tate. So
Somebody
does the loss suck? Of course it does. They're at home and they. You don't want to lose at home. Nobody wants to lose at home.
it solidifies that they're just right in that. We talk about that 2 to 8 mess on
Yeah.
the horizon. And somebody asked me on Twitter the other day, like, hey, I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention. Who's your top three right now? And I said Wright State, and then I don't know. And nobody
It's
has shown
true.
anything past what we all talked about in the offseason. Like no
It
one
is.
has
It is.
said anything.
You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely right. And it's funny that, and then you have these oddball things like IUPUI beating South Florida, and then Cleveland State sweeping their weekend to completely throw everything out of whack.
UIC has been as abysmal as they always
Oh
seem to be
yeah.
for some reason, but there's no reason they should be. So,
No.
everyone picked them higher, but we all knew it was stupid anyway because they're going to be UIC and do UIC things, and they are. And it's exactly what we expected. And what it comes down to is after Wright State, it's who knows right now. It's no one has distanced themselves. Nobody's shown
No,
any.
they really haven't. And that's the crazy thing because not only has nobody distanced themselves, we're now putting again, like I said, we're putting IUPUI and Cleveland State in the conversation we didn't think we were ever going to put them in.
Sure,
I
why
mean,
not?
I
The
mean,
hell.
seriously, it's insane. The fun. I mean, what's amazing to me, and this is and I'm glad you brought up UIC because UIC just, I mean, I don't know what's going on with them because Targus Ferguson is back. Marcus Adi still is not. I guess he's still in the walking boot, I suppose. So, they did get a win. They did get a win against Robert Morris, but man, the Mercer game. I know it said 72-68. I saw that game. That game wasn't as close as the final score indicated. Mercer pretty much, was in control the entire game.
I mean,
And
Mercer was up 10 at the half, and then it just kind of coasted through that second
yeah,
half, as far as I can tell.
yeah, and that's exactly what they did, and almost lost the game from it. But yeah, it's interesting. Again, and I guess we can't stress enough the fact that UIC is still missing Audie and Jordan Blunt, and it's evident. It's evident that they miss those guys like really badly.
Well, sure.
But at the same time, I mean, when you have such a like underwhelming non-conference slate as UIC has had, I mean, if you're
Well,
if you're the if you're the new AD over there, you have to be asking what on earth is going on. I mean,
UIC got out rebounded in that game by 18 rebounds against
yeah,
Mercer. Like, That's
Exactly. They don't.
oh,
They don't have a
our
front.
is
They
not going to
mean
fix that.
that's crazy that they don't have that kind of front. I mean, good lord. I mean, say what you want about Cleveland State, who only like generally plays like who only generally starts a one forward, generally starts one forward to start the game. Cleveland State is rebounding better than UIC is right now. I don't understand that at all.
Because one of my favorite people on USC is Diggins, who I
Yeah.
watched that dude leap out of the gym. Like he's a volleyball dude. I mean, I think if I remember, he came from like a volleyball background. He's
Mm-hmm.
got his sisters in the WNBA. The dude can hop out of the gym. Like
Yes, Skylar Diggins is his sister, by the way.
yeah, like how is he not down low and being in a
I
position to get
know.
3 boards in a game? Like
That
I watched
is,
that
yeah,
dude. I'm
that's
impressed.
dumb. That is dumbfounding. I mean, seriously,
That's
he's not.
coaching.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he only got 3 rebounds that game.
Yeah.
Your top rebounders um, were Dion Ejim, who actually is a forward, and 2 guards, Godwin Bowen and Jamie Hale. Those were your best rebounders. I mean, Braylon Bridges only got 1. Michael Diggins only got 1. I mean,
Diggins got 3, but yeah.
I'm sorry, Diggins got 3. Did I say 1? I meant
Yeah,
3.
but
My
but still,
bad.
like again, that dude has ups. Like, how is he not down low in a position to grab boards?
He may not be. I mean, given where he's at, he may not. I mean, he may not be able to be. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just it's kind of it's really kind of a crapshoot with them. And for this being the second to last year of his contract, do you really want your second to last year and in the presence of a new athletic director? Is this really what he wanted to put forward?
I wouldn't, but I'm not.
No. I
I'm not
mean,
McLean in the heist, so what do I know?
yeah, I think we talked about. Did we talk about? I know we talked about this in episodes past that they were at a point where they were bringing in, students from
Mhm.
other sports to practice, and it's like, okay, what's the point of that? I mean, I think if they had beaten Mercer on top of the Robert Morris win, I think we might have had a different conversation with them. We could have just chalked this up to, okay, Tarkus Ferguson was out, Marcus Adi is out. It's a hiccup,
You
but
know
we're
when
not saying that.
when Cleveland State got that win yesterday, you can say it's my fault because I said it on Twitter after the Cleveland State win. I said, "Wow, that's 3 for 3 so far," and we have UIC Mercer and Northern Kentucky Texas Southern. I
And
was like,
you
Horizon.
curse them both. It's your
I was like, Horizon might go 5 for 5 today. It would have been a really good day for the league. But
and yet both UIC and Northern Kentucky didn't win.
I mean, I guess that can be on me, but
That's
I don't
actually
play the
pretty
game,
funny.
so I'm not into jinxes and all that. I don't play that game. It's like how I feel about how you can't blame refs, Northern Kentucky
Yeah.
fans. It's not my thing, and I don't think that's the way to go about it. I don't believe in it.
Hey, I've always been of the philosophy if you have to make if you got to be if you're playing to the point where you got to let the refs have a say in what if you win or lose, you need to do better.
You could have done something.
Do not leave it up to the refs. Period.
Yep.
Yeah, which is funny because again, it's funny because to hear Al Pulaski say it during the Cleveland State broadcast, Cleveland State was just totally getting jobbed by the refs the entire time. They won both those games, so
You
I don't know
know,
what to tell you.
people on the call like that make saying those things that's what makes me dislike some of the Horizon League calls. And I wasn't listening to this one. I just we got to take some of the homerism out of our calls because
But we're not
it
going
makes
to
it
do
so
that.
hard.
You know that, right? That's just
What's
not
that?
happening.
I know, but especially getting into conference season, like I like having ESPN3 and being able to
Yeah.
watch these games, but like I have to mute the right state games because I can't stand the old guy, like stuff like that. Like, can we do better, you guys? Like maybe I'm just jaded, maybe I'm biased, but like other than his of course calls, like Neil Rule's a pro. Like
Yeah.
like why can't we all not we can't all have Neil Rule? I know that, but can't we do better than some of these guys? Like, come on, let's. I've been listening to a lot of Detroit Mercy. I happen to be driving and listen to Dan Hasty, and it's a great call. I
Yeah,
don't he's a homer like it's a that's pro. Like
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Sure,
We,
sure.
we need
By the
to do
way,
better.
I'm glad you brought up Wright State because and by this is kind of a programming note at some point in time, and your guys' heads are gonna explode. We're gonna get Justin Kinner on here on the show. We just need to figure out when he's gonna come on, but he's definitely coming on. Don't think I'm gonna ask about his podcast, but maybe I will. I don't know.
Well, I've seen your work.
Hey, I'm just happy they their podcast diversified into other sports as I had hoped originally they would do. So,
Yeah.
so I'm good with that. Um, but the but you bring up a good point because we are at the process. We're at this point in time with all these games. We're just able to listen because a lot of these games, because they're part of these like mid-level exception tournament games or whatever the hell they want to call them, and for whatever reason, all of these games are on FloSports. And I don't know how many of you actually have FloSports. We don't. All the Horizon League games are on ESPN Plus. I spent. And by the way, um, which is fine. I'm good with that. I'm even better with it now because I have the package with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. By the way,
Hell yeah, you have that package. So do I. Hell yeah.
hell
Love
yeah! I mean, seriously, put it to you in perspective. I had Hulu without the commercials and ESPN Plus. I just dropped the commercials on Hulu, and I'm spending like maybe $1 more a month. So yeah, best deal ever. Take advantage, people. And by the way,
not to not
Mandalorian and Baby Yoda are the shit. I don't even want to. Don't even. Don't at me.
not to be Prince Fielder, but I got kids, man. Like hell yeah, I've got Disney Plus.
That's right. You better. Yes. But yeah. But again, I mean, but that's where the Horizon League went. They went with the ESPN Plus. I know there's been a big old to do about. Oh well, the Horizon League should have kept this in house. Blah 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 blah. No, because there are far worse options than ESPN Plus, and that option is freaking Flow Sports. Good lord. Um, so to put it to let you so Oakland has had games on Flow Sports. Detroit has had a game, and we'll have its more of the Vegas games on Flow Sports. Milwaukee and the Bahamas Classic, or whatever the hell that, or the Paradise Jam, or whatever it was called, Flow Sports. Cleveland State and the DC Classic, Flow Sports. So apparently, you can. And I looked this, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually I wanted to register for this Flow Sports, see what it was all about. They have yearly subscriptions where it breaks down to about $12.50 a month. Okay, awesome. If you just wanted 1 month, I'm hoping I'm wrong. It's $30.
That's correct.
Oh, fuck that. I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna do $30. Look, I understand how many games that the Horizon League has had on this platform, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna spend $30 on it. Especially when you consider in December everybody's gonna be doing their own thing on ESPN Plus. So I'm like, what's the point?
Well, and that's where I start. In one of my other activities uses flow sports. I'm a big band nerd, and the rest of my life we talked about that here and there. And a lot of the major band stuff is hosted by Flow. They do Flow marching is what it is, and I never really thought about it, but maybe going forward, because I have paid $30 just to watch, a championship in that activity. But you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe it'll make sense for me going forward just to do the year. If there's going to be enough basketball on there, in the past I knew they did like the championship, like NCAA wrestling was on there, so like stuff that I didn't care about. But if I can get enough of my other niche activity and basketball, I might look into it for the year. It might make sense, but I mean, $30 for like two
Yeah.
or three basketball games, that sucks.
No, no, absolutely. Now, I'm actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I know, back in the day, I know Flow Wrestling is huge. It's a big thing. I also know that track, if you're into track, they're the place. By the way, I also believe that Flow Sports has the Streaming rights to the Bundesliga, the German soccer league.
I can't stand soccer. I have to. I understand so many people love soccer, and it's so cool for you all. I don't like soccer. I've tried.
I'm not. I'm more. I'm a Premier League guy. So the Bundesliga does not attract my attention. Plus, I know Italy's league is on ESPN Plus too. So it's like I got England and I got England and I got Italy. What the hell do I'll catch the German soccer players in the Champions League. Call me when they get there. I'm not
The,
spending again. It's not really worth my time or effort. So
the closest I get to being a soccer fan is I enjoy the one of the local teams here is Detroit City Football Club (DCFC),
yes,
and I don't actually care about the soccer. Their fans are just so nuts, and I
yeah.
really appreciate the hooliganism and the craziness that they bring. I enjoy that, but the
I
soccer.
don't blame you. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one Carrick's in charge. Carrick's running with. I don't remember.
Something Metro Rangers or something like
Metro
that.
Rangers. That's it. Metro Rangers. That's right.
Yep, at their another local club.
They are. They're yeah. So yeah. So I have been paying a little bit of attention.
Look at you go.
Yeah. So but yeah. The whole idea that I'm gonna for all these little early season tournament games that I'm gonna spend all this kind of that I'm gonna it's Christmas season, people. We're spending money on Christmas presents. Damn it.
Yeah, or Disney Plus or
Or
something.
Disney. Well, I mean, Disney. Yeah. I mean, so, but it kind of makes it a little frustrating. I can't, it's a little frustrating to me. I don't want to spend that kind of money on that. I mean, as a, as to be fair, of course, as a podcast that covers the whole of the Horizon League, maybe it would be worth the investment. But I mean,
Like a tax write-off at some point.
it would be a tax write-off if we made any money. People, we don't make any money here. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, it was a try.
It's like, yeah, like for whatever money we would make in the over the course of a year with the Horizon Roundtable, it would get canceled out because we had to spend a month on FloSports. That's how bad this is.
Well, we thought we were going to get paid this year, Bob, but turns out after the FloSports, nope, right out.
Sorry, we had to put money into that subscription. Gotta spend money to make money.
What? Maybe our sponsors will take care of it for us.
What sponsors? Jesus
Oh yeah,
Christ.
right.
We have no sponsors. Believe me, we've been trying the whole year.
If anyone's interested in sponsoring the Horizon Roundtable, you can reach out to me or Bob via Twitter. We will take care of that. We'll get that set up.
I'm holding out for Culver's, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. They have establishments all over the Horizon League area, as I found out.
We need an Indianapolis bar to sponsor us now, so that can just be our where we hole up for the tournament.
And by we, you mean you and Jimmy and whoever.
I mean, whoever's at the tournament and all of our faithful listeners.
That's true. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on, there's got to be something down there.
So if you're in Indy and you're listening, which I'm sure you are, there's a lot of you. Again, reach out. We can talk about this.
Yeah, we are still waiting for another IUPUI fan to show up to some of to the next fan battle royale. We're still holding out for that.
Can I give a shout out to a fan group?
Yes, please. Please do so.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but those Vicious Vikes are sure trying, and I hope that any of them might listen to this because I see them tweeting. There was like 8 of them at a watch party.
Yes.
They're trying. I'm impressed.
Yes.
They are doing better than I expected them to, and they're not giving up right away.
And I gotta say this, I mean, because there was like a whole group of them at that Florida International debacle. I actually quote tweeted them because they had the picture of them at the game, and let me tell you something. I mean, I think I've gone over this a lot because Cleveland State, there's only like a handful, as I'm sure there's only like a handful of us actual fans. 99% of them follow me. The other 1% I've either blocked or ignored on general principle. But the big thing with that, and I've always been of the opinion that, and I know you are too, that if you get students involved in these games, if you get these students involved in the programs, it's going to have a lot of great long-term effects. And the fact that Cleveland State in this year of all years has finally got a group of fans that want to get involved, want to get actively involved, and not just in basketball, not just in men's basketball, because they're over cheering on the women's team too, who, by the way, no slouch themselves, and every other team that they're involved, that they're getting actively involved and cheering on all the sports in their program.
We need to get some vicious Vikes on this podcast. We haven't talked.
I'm still holding out for that. You guys know where I'm at.
Come talk.
We're waiting. I am actively waiting for you. In fact, I would have loved to have you guys on when we had the Grizz gang on. When we had yeah. So I am, like I said, I don't know, but I don't know a lot about anything. I don't know kind of the direction that Dennis Gates has this team going in. But I will say this, obviously, defense is like his big calling card, and we're going to see that a lot over the next few years. But the fact that you already have a swath of students that have already bought in,
it's great.
It's amazing. I mean, especially kind of, I'm happy they kind of filtered out all the bullshit we talk about too, because we talk about a lot of stuff that is not exactly that would probably piss them off. I'm sure. I mean,
I've never pissed off anybody, Bob. You've got me confused.
You never. Oh wow, yeah. Come on, you. But that's kind of, but again, yeah. I mean, that's what students groups do. And for those of you, I know some of you, I'm sure, kind of. I know some of you some of you at with the Vicious Vikes, either a friend or a friend, kind of listen to the show. I'm hoping you do. Got to keep listening. You're a fan. This is a podcast by and for Horizon League fans. This is this is your zone right here. I would, again, we encourage you to reach out, because they've already encouraged you to reach out to the Grizz Gang guys and the Valhalla Vanguard, whatever they're doing with their whole thing, or whatever's going on in Green Bay. Because I guess they got something going on.
They got a great thing going on, and it's so quiet. Like, let's get those guys on.
I know.
We've been doing such a good job getting fans on and all that, but we're still missing some of these student groups, and we're trying, guys. Reach out to us.
Absolutely, we are absolutely.
A lot of basketball we talked about.
Oh, absolutely. We are in the season now, so you guys definitely have to get, and don't even. You know what? I'm not even worried about if you talk to us. Talk to each other. We're good. We'll horn in on your conversations. We're not above that.
Like I just said, there's so much good basketball. I'm just looking at this week for the Horizon League.
Yeah.
There's a lot of winnable games this week for everybody.
Absolutely.
Plus giving. So that's great. Like, there's a lot of winnable basketball games coming out this week.
I mean, if you'd have told me a week ago that Robert Morris was a winnable game for potentially winnable game for Cleveland State, I would have told you were insane. But after this weekend, I'm not. I'm kind of on board.
Got the giant Evansville coming into IUPUI this week, but I mean, Evansville's been not very good since knocking off Kentucky, which is crazy. Like,
I mean, you look at the Monday games. I mean, you have Northern Kentucky's got a non D1 team that's coming up. Midway. I don't even never heard of Midway.
They're gonna take out some aggression on those guys.
I'm very interested in seeing what Oakland's going to do against Northern Illinois, though.
Yeah, that's and Oakland's been resting up for about a week now, so.
Look, more flow hoops with Wright State and Weber State. Like, thanks, guys, get the hell out of here. That actually is making me this flow hoops thing is making me angrier than it should.
Did you see the picture? A little different topic. I think it was maybe the tournament in the Bahamas where they got moved from, and I forgot who it was, but they got moved from like the main floor. They were essentially playing in like a conference room. There was
Oh
like
my
no.
God! Yeah, I saw they are.
Who was
Yeah, I
that?
saw that. I actually saw that image. I saw that picture. I saw a picture today with Milwaukee playing on that floor. Like, how
Is
does
Flo
that even
in that too?
work?
Can they get a TV camera in there?
I don't know if they got a TV camera in there, but I mean, good lord, there was like the ceiling is so low. I mean, good luck trying to heave a desperation shot at the closing seconds. You're gonna hit the ceiling. How
Yeah,
does that? By the way, how does that work? Is that a jump ball?
uh, probably. It's got to be a dead ball.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, this week is just so packed because you have so many because you got IUPUI's playing a couple games in Omaha on Monday and Tuesday. You've got Wright State down in Florida playing a couple games. You got Detroit Mercy playing Louisiana Lafayette in
Which
the
with that one you've got what is Miller, who was the transfer from there, wasn't it
yeah,
Miller?
the Justin Miller revenge game.
Yeah, that's fun. See how that plays out.
Yeah, so and then IUPUI, let's see here, and then Green Bay's got their whatever the hell they got going on up at the Crest Center with Cal State Northridge and Colgate, and I
The
think
Legends Classic.
Legends Classic, whatever they're calling it, and then on top of that you got UIC hoping I hope they bounce back against Canisius. I mean, come on, it's Canisius, people. I mean, man, yeah, because Wright State's playing 3 games in a row. That's gonna be that's gonna be tough. And then Northern Kentucky goes into Arkansas.
Those tournaments, so many coaches talk about them. They love playing the 3 days because it preps them for the Horizon League tournament or
That's
NCAA.
true.
Like it's their preparation to see how their team handles very little scouting and all that, and just can you turn around and
And
play basketball a couple
and
days
it's
in a row.
amazing because I think just about every single most of the Horizon League teams have done that back to back or back to back to back schedule already.
Hmm.
Cleveland State did, Milwaukee just did, Detroit's going to, Wright State's about to,
Oakland
Green Bay
did.
is, Oakland did early.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's in yeah. I'm actually kind of that's actually kind of a smart play for them. Again, all things considered, with the Horizon League tournament coming up.
Yeah, I mean, there's everyone's doing things well. We just need to keep getting more wins, which I this time of year I want to see Horizon teams win, except for Cleveland State because I'm mad at them. But that's why it was
You'll
interesting
stop
last
being
night.
mad at them once the NCAA gets their head out of their asses. By the way, they still do.
Maybe I'll think about
Maybe
it. But it
you'll
was
see.
interesting because, like I said, I'm generally a Horizon League fan this time of year. Like, it's good for the league. But it's interesting seeing Antoine Davis tweeting his happiness last night at Texas Southern nipping.
We gotta yeah. So we gotta close out the show with that right there. That
Real quick.
is interesting. That of all the because maybe this is because the Valhalla Vanguard gave Antoine Davis so much shit, and maybe that was kind of his revenge. I don't know.
That just keeps that little rivalry just between Davis and the Vanguard just keeps getting tweaked up. And like obviously,
That is
Davis,
amazing.
the Davis family has the Texas Southern ties. I get that, but
Yep.
Antoine wasn't even going to go there. He was committed to Houston before Daddy ran off to Detroit Mercy. So like, I mean, he's got friends at Texas Southern. I get it, but man, this time of year, better the Horizon League is, the more wins the Horizon, the better it is for everybody. But obviously, I guess if you're not tournament eligible anyway, what do you care?
And
So
yeah, and again, the NCAA is still shuffling their feet on that shit too. Oh, by
I
the
mean,
way, John Parker mentioned the fact that Milwaukee may be not doing much better soon because apparently Tejan Lucas went down with an injury.
that's
So
not.
that might not be good for them.
Well, all I'm saying is I like seeing Horizon teams win this time of year. It
Yeah.
helps everybody come tournament time. So it's
Well,
interesting to
yeah,
see
I mean
Antoine
that's the whole
openly
and that's
openly
really
say
kind
that.
of the whole thing because you have we've lamented for years the Horizon League just sucking ass completely during the non-conference, but and so it's nice that you have some teams that are doing better. and
Yeah,
I'm looking forward. I mean, I really hope that that trend keeps moving forward, especially as we get into all these little tournament things over the Thanksgiving weekend.
a lot of basketball we played this week. We'll see if when I talk to you in a week if we're still feeling the same way about everything because the team's got to win this week, and there's a lot of
Man,
them.
I'm still trying to keep up, man. It's gonna be tough, especially since we're gonna have to put up a FloSports again for at least a couple of these games.
Thank you, Reddit, for fake links.
All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. As always, you can find episodes of the Horizon Roundtable and a lot more on our website, horizonroundtable.com. And of course, you can find episodes of Horizon Roundtable wherever you find podcasts. And you can also use your Amazon or Google devices to listen to us. So that's going to wrap it up, and thank you for listening.